Clear, I feel like I did the impossible.
What's that?
I got you out of Minnesota into Wisconsin to do some ice fishing.
I love Wisconsin.
We're in northern Wisconsin. We got two buddies with us. Jason Shakirett.
I've heard of him.
Tyler Manny.
He's a good stick.
Good sticks.
Yeah.
A lot of lakes up here in northern Wisconsin. Area I'm real familiar with, not too far from my house. We're maybe going after walleyes, maybe smallies, maybe lake trout. Who knows, right?
A little everything for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun. We're gonna go out there, maybe do a little tip-up fishing, a little jigging, anything we can do to get the next bite.
Let's do this.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite, next bite. Yes, we
Picking a lake to fish when heading to northern Wisconsin can be tough, just because there are so many good choices. But something to pay attention to is the water clarity in each lake. The fishing is greatly affected by water clarity because of light penetration. Walleyes really like to feed in low light conditions, so fishing a low water clarity lake during high sun periods of the day works well. Or vice versa, fish very clear bodies of water at sunrise and sunset. Looking at aerial maps and following these rules of thumb can make picking lakes based on water clarity easier.
The reason I like coming up to northern Wisconsin is you literally have hundreds of lakes within a 50-mile area to choose from. So how do you pick which lake to go to? And, we like to run and gun and just grab a lake or two every day, but I break it down into three different categories. Basically, you have your glacier lakes. Glacier lakes are going to be your deepest lakes. They're very clear water. They're generally going to have a lot of rock. Those are going to hold the biggest fish up here in this area. So if you're looking for a giant walleye or a big old smallmouth bass, look for a glacier lake. Generally, those are going to be probably 50 feet and deeper. The other thing about that is you want to fish those early in the morning and late in the afternoon because of the clear water. If you don't want to go out early or fish late, pick one of the flowages. The flowages up here are generally have that tannic water, a little bit of stain to it. So that midday bite on a flowage is going to be your best. You can catch everything during the middle of the day. Now, if you want to fish all day long, I would pick what you call a drainage lake. A drainage lake is a lake that has a river coming in and a river going out. So those lakes are generally a little shallower, have a little bit of a tint to them. They're not gin clear. Very easy to fish because they are shallower and have that tint. So you've got the best of both worlds. You can fish early in the morning, all day, and then into the evening. And to come up here and catch big walleyes, big smallmouth bass, crappies, largemouth bass, lake trout, whatever you want to pick. Coming to northern Wisconsin is by far one of the coolest areas in the world. So figure out those three different lakes I talked about, pick one and have a blast.
Got him.
Got one?
Got him, yep. I don't know what it is.
I'll be right there.
But he whacked it.
I'll be right here.
Not quite sure what it is.
Nice.
What do we got here?
We got smallies.
Oh, smallies. I don't know if I was expecting that.
No. What are we chasing? We're chasing trout.
They're still fun though.
Are you kidding me?
Fun. There were like 2 or 3 of them on the graph coming up. Look at that.
Well, so there's a pile of them, huh?
Yeah, there's a pile of them. I think I'm gonna get it back down there.
Well, I was shooting camera over there, looking at the bottom, trying to see what's out here, and then you're like, "Oh, there comes one," and I didn't expect that at all.
We've seen a lot of perch. You've seen a lot of perch on camera,
but no,
we're just this is kind of a brand new lake for us. We just came out and we're moving around and never been here, but Bonus right there.
Yeah, take it.
Here we go.
That's so cool. See you, bud.
Yep.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. And Power Pole Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Precision Trolling Data, the authority for crankbait diving depth information. It's a common practice while ice fishing to use one rod jigging and one, sometimes two lines as set lines or dead sticks. This allows you one rod to try and trigger fish to bite while also spreading out lines and covering as much water as possible in a situation where moving spots is not as easy as being in a boat.
New lake, fun.
Smallmouth bass are not easy to target through the ice. And they crunch the shiver minnow.
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
It actually came up and it missed it at first, and I just kept lifting after the hook set, and he just came up like another 6 feet.
So you got a little tricky trailer on that thing.
Hey, stop it. Don't look
You don't want to show the viewers at home?
Smallmouth bass are not an easy fish to target through the ice, making your jigging cadence and bait choice very important.
One of the most important things when using any lure is to have a good understanding of what the triggering characteristics of that lure is. So when I'm in the summertime, I like to use, any bait that I'm using, I'll bring close to the boat, especially in clear water, and I'll take a look and see exactly what that lure is doing in relation to how I'm working my rod. In the wintertime, it's no different. Whether I'm using a camera or just dropping it down the hole, I want to have a good idea of exactly what that lure is using. So in this case, we've been using these shiver minnows, actually the new fat bottoms, and this bait actually really glides out a lot more than the original shiver minnow. So that's a big triggering characteristic. The problem with that lure is it's moving so fast outside to side, it's good at getting the attention of a fish, but I know that I need to stop my rod tip and hold it steady and let that lure kind of wander back to center, and that's the actual trigger that gets the fish to bite. So next time you're out on the ice, take the time to really understand exactly what each lure is doing, for how hard you're working it, and then understand that on a lure like this, you're going to probably want to hold it still and let it kind of creep back to center to give that fish a chance to bite it. And I think you're going to catch a lot more fish.
Oh, I got him.
Oh, smallie!
Another one.
Decent one.
Wow, they're slippery.
Hey, I feel like I just listened to an interview with you. You were talking about how much you love smallies, but that was pretty slow motion to get over here and help me out.
I had 100 yards. You had 100 yards on me.
I am out of shape. Hey, I think we all are. No, that's a good one, but I mean, it was crazy because all of a sudden I literally had just dropped down, and as soon as I dropped down, 2 or 3 of them just about 6, 7 feet off the bottom.
There's a school around here.
I think there's a school of them.
I was just going to get the auger so I could punch more holes, and he's like, got another one.
Well, get over there and do it. There you go, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
A lot of you guys watching this show are obviously fishermen, and just like myself, a lot of us fishermen are also hunters, and to me, waterfowl hunting is what I live for. And when it comes to waterfowl hunting, just like fishing, boat control is very important. It might be coming to placing decoys, you might be in a river system. I like hunting a lot of late season, and with a lot of current, putting out decoys and picking up decoys can be very painful with the boat constantly drifting away. But one thing that you also get in the fall is a lot of wind. And a lot of times when you're hunting ducks, you're hunting emergent vegetation that comes out of the water, and when that wind's trying to blow you around or through that cover, it can be very tough to hold your boat where you want to be. And concealment is the #1 thing when it comes to hunting. And utilizing 2 power poles on my duck boat here, I can hide the boat a lot easier. I can position it just right, where I can have it turned a little bit offshore, where I can have all the hunters shooting the same way. And so utilizing my power poles for decoy placement, for putting out maybe a motion decoy, I can set the boat right where I want to be, put the wings on, drop it in place. It makes everything a lot easier, but most importantly, it helps me with concealment, and that's the most important thing when it comes to duck hunting. So just like fishing, you know, these power poles are a great tool we can have for duck hunting as well.
Looking at a group of anglers from above the ice might make it seem like they're fishing nothing in particular. But what's going on under the ice is what's important. Like summer fishing, changes in bottom structure are areas you want to target.
You know, one of the great things about Wisconsin is just the amount of lines, you know, and tip-up situations that we can run. And we have a pretty good group of guys here. There's 4 of us out fishing. So we're able to use a big spread on the structure areas that we're focusing in on. And some of those structure areas are basically going to be bigger rock humps. And we're looking for sharp breaks off of those rock humps. And what you want to do is really try to find where the transition of that hard to soft bottom is. That's a transition that fish are going to use throughout the day, and specifically in the middle of the day like it is right now, the bite can slow down. And it's important to position a lot of your tip-ups on that base of the break, real close to the break, but on the base of it, where those fish have maybe slid off midday and they're just sitting there not quite as active. And you can literally watch your tip-up setups if you put a couple up top, a couple down near the bottom at that transition, on how those fish are reacting on the structure. Now the beauty is we all like jigging too. So the jigging part of it, you're able to move up and down the break really easily because you're not obviously resetting the tip up. So really focus on the structures, use jigging and tip ups to your advantage to catch as many fish as you possibly can on these great structure areas on all these northern Wisconsin lakes.
Jig areas right here.
Oh, wow, big bass.
Smallmouth.
Oh boy, I got him for you.
We are on
Wow.
the smallies, man.
No doubt.
I love these things. God dang.
Did you see that thing spinning? I
Well,
was
yeah.
like running up, you beat me to it, and
It's
it
one
was
of the
like
first
falling.
ones that was just flying, so I just picked it up and jerked on them. And
Yeah, that's like the green
My
light
God.
of tip-up fishing, right? Bobber
I
down.
love it. I love these things.
That's awesome working.
It's bonus fish like during the day while you're waiting for these walleyes for the evening run. Smallmouths, crappies, whatever you want to chase during the day, and that's what we ended up catching, just kind of fishing, you know, waiting for evening and doing all that. So
I wish I had this option in Minnesota for the midday. It's
Right?
sweet. All right,
Catching
let's get it back.
3 and 4 pounders.
No doubt. Wow, those things are cool.
They're hard to catch in the wintertime, but there she goes.
So this is something that I've learned over the years to kind of help me put more walleyes on the ice. A lot of guys, when they grab a minnow, they like to hook it underneath the dorsal fin like this. And the minnow swims fine and everything's fine, but you really, if you look, you only have that one treble facing forward. So something that I do a little different, and I truly believe that it's a big time game changer, is I would like to skin hook it right there, run parallel with the spine, and just barely come through. The minnow's still swimming great, 2 barbs forward, so when that walleye comes up, eats it head first, you have way better chance of hooking that fish. Oh, Chase, right behind you, tip up, tip up.
Oh, yep. Got a spinner.
Got him?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Feels a little small. Oh, hey.
Targeted species at least.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right species for sure. and honestly, that's not a bad fish. I mean, northern Wisconsin,
That's
it's a decent fish. This thing would probably taste really good.
absolutely very good.
We're gonna put this one back,
Yeah,
but
that's fine by me.
no, it was perfect. I mean, a slow spin when we came up, and I could tell it wasn't really that big, but heck, right species. And all we did is we actually moved lakes. I mean, we've been jumping around,
We've been jumping big
pile of lakes around here, and we just set up on a nice flat, just off of a really sharp break, and
Yep. A nice
there you
travel
go.
corridor.
We haven't been here too long. See if we can get some bigger ones, buddy.
Absolutely.
There you go, buddy.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Tracker Boats. Fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Lowrance. Find, navigate, dominate. Precision Trolling Data. The authority in diving depth info. And Power Pole. Total boat control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
I want to take a moment to explain a little bit about high-performance deep V boats. This is a big Mercury Verado, 400 horsepower engine. Generates a tremendous amount of prop torque. When you let this baby rip, especially when the engine's trimmed down, that prop torque is tremendous. What that will do is it'll take a deep V boat like we have right here, and it'll actually make that boat lean towards the passenger side. But it's a fact of physics. You cannot get around it. So setting your boat up properly becomes extremely important. So I'm going to describe the scenario to you. It's a rough day out on the lake. You have to trim your engine down, you give it a lot of gas to get through the waves, generates a ton of prop torque. The boat wants to lean towards the passenger side. Now let's set the scenario where waves are coming in from that side. You're looking at all the conditions being the wrong conditions, because the waves will crash into the side of the boat. They'll hit the chine of the boat, giving you a rough ride, giving your passenger a rough ride. You get all beat up, and that's where you hear a lot of complaining about rough water. When your boat is set up properly, you don't have those issues. And the key to making all of this work is to realize that this is a big engine, and that this engine can be big relative to the size of the boat you have. We might be talking about a 17-foot boat with a 150. All of these deep V boats do the same thing. But one of the cures is you can put on a set of trim tabs. This is a set of Pro tabs. These tabs won't break apart upon you. They're very strong, they're small. This is unlike the ocean boats, where the main reason for the tabs is to help you with a better hole shot and do a little bit of back and forth. But this is all, these tabs will do this at a high speed. If you want to lay your boat flatter in rough water, you can lower both trim tabs at the same time. If we have the situation that I just described, where your partner's getting beat up and your boat's getting beat up, I can literally go to my joystick on the console, move it over, make one tab go up, make one tab go down, and I can literally lift the whole boat and my passenger up so that the boat is more level than it was before. In fact, sometimes over level, which compensates for those big waves and all this prop torque. And essentially I can smooth the ride out and make a much drier ride for my partner also. So performance boating can be fantastic. You see us travel long distances on the Great Lakes in very rough conditions, and you think, oh my goodness, guys are really getting beat up, but we're not. Because we have good sets of Pro tabs on our boats, and because our boats are set up properly with the proper seating and things like that, those rough water days become much, much easier to manipulate.
Chasing smallies midday and walleyes at prime time is a great way to spend a day of fishing in northern Wisconsin, especially through the ice, when all fish are more lethargic due to the colder water and tend to be less active. Targeting multiple species in a day in a place like northern Wisconsin can give you ample opportunity to catch a lot of fish.
We got one. This is a good one. This is a good one, John. I don't.
Give me the handle.
It's heavy.
Puppy?
Decent fish too. Oh, what is this thing? This is a big.
Look at how big that thing is. I wasn't expecting that. Look how big that is. Wow.
I was not expecting that.
My goodness.
I was thinking it had like a 4 or 5 pound walleye, but instead it's about a 4.5, 5 pound smalley.
These things are way more rare than 4 pound walleye.
Holy cow.
That's literally like a, what, 21 inch bass?
This thing is a weird color too, isn't it?
That is awesome.
It is pretty sweet.
Literally looks like it's from Green Bay.
Well, and I came up to the tip up and I could tell, like, I thought it was gonna be a pike or something because it was just, just spinning and ripping line, and it didn't take much.
I think some of these must be what's dropping our minnows, because they'll rip out line and then just stop and it looks right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got this one kind of quick.
Yep.
Maybe that was the difference.
That
So
is,
we need to race to him,
I guess we need to race. Yep. Let's get that thing back.
Holy cow.
What a stud.
That's what I keep staring at it. Look at the color of that thing. That'd be sweet if that one bites again a little later.
There we go.
Goodbye. Nice.
That's all I got, Coach. This is all I got.
Just your form is kind of embarrassing.
That's what happens when you get old.
That was pretty slow motion to get over here and help me out.
I had 100 yards. You had 100 yards on me.
I am out of shape.
Pro Tab setup, all I have to do is hit my little deal over there. Yeah. Yeah, my control joystick. That's the word I was searching for. Okay. Provide much more or less water, less wet, less spray, less. Now what was I gonna say? Less water, less spray.
Can you hear me good? All right. I don't know what I'm gonna say. A lot of you may be watching. That was a practice. I didn't know what I was gonna say.
I got him. Oh, is that a good one too? Really? The line just went